Today I'm going to take you all to St Albans, one of the most beautiful cities in Hertfordshire. It's also my favorite place, so let's go. Alright, as you can see, I'm currently in St Albans. It's one of the most beautiful cathedral cities that I personally like in England, especially in Hertfordshire. Now, of course, today it's a little bit drizzling right here, which I think is the right time because this city somewhat looks better when it's rainy. So I'm going to take you all to some of the cool places that I normally go, and I hope you all will like it as well. So come and join me. Okay, so right behind me you can see this place called Books on the Hill, and it's one of my favorite bookstores, especially in St Albans, because they have quite a lot of good books. And if you go inside, the place is quite beautiful. They have a lot of books, a lot of genres. Upstairs they even have the reading rooms for us, and sometimes they also host like book signings events so that you could meet your favorite authors and get your autograph, which is really cool. So now I believe you all understand why do I love Books on the Hill so much. If you just need a relaxing afternoon to have some tea, sit on the table, read some classic books, I think this is the right place. Now right behind of me, as you can see, we have got the HSBC Bank in St Albans. If you remember from my previous video, I studied in Uni of Herts, and Hartfield is just the neighbouring city which is just next to St Albans, and HSBC was the closest one for me to get to. So whenever I have issues with my bank accounts, I will always travel here. And now I'll continue my journey and take you all to the St Albans museums. Alright, so right behind of me, as you can see, we have the St Albans Museum and Gallery. It's usually the place for them to put on exhibitions for arts and stuff. It's free entrance. Normally I would like to visit because they always change the themes and the stuff that they display. Like sometimes they will have exhibitions for the making of shoes in St Albans, photography, and there was a time they even display literatures, histories about Charles Dickens, which is pretty cool. And right underneath the building they also have got like a tunnel that looks like a replicated version of the olden days prison, and there is even a courtroom for cafes, so which is pretty interesting. Now, one thing I really need to mention about St Albans, and the reason why it's so significant to me, is because when I was in my master's degree at the university, I had to travel 3 hours per journey from there to my part-time job place every single week, and it became like my routine to drop by St Albans. So it was quite a tiring experience, I admit. It was a long journey, but I never complain about it, because if you're talking about St Albans itself, it's a very relaxing city as mentioned, and there's so much things to explore, like the historical and the cultural aspects of it, which is why I always take it as, you know, my sanctuary whenever I go to work or whenever I came back from work. Also, check the front door. The way how they design the house is very beautiful, right? This is the reason why I always love UK houses, and it will never get old. Alright, so as you've just seen, I visited one of the charity shops in St Albans, and they have quite a lot of things like this across the UK. Now, one thing I always love about that is that they sell a lot of things like the old books or the DVDs, or you know, like many other things that you probably wouldn't even think of or you couldn't find elsewhere. And yes, some of them are second hand, but they are in good conditions. So right now, I just bought this book as well. It's called A Series of Unfortunate Events. So it's pretty cool. It's a book that I always like to get, but I can't find it elsewhere. You could get it from Amazon, but since they sell it in the charity shop, I paid there instead, so that my money would also benefit the people and the organizations that they are funding to. Here's a confession. So I'm a huge fan of milkshakes, like I really love them, and I am also a regular customer and a very loyal one in this place called Shaken Cow. So how could you go wrong with milkshakes, especially with a good one? The thing is, their milkshakes is also pretty reasonable, and whichever flavors that you go to, they will never disappoint, which is why I always come here whenever I visited St Albans. So even if I'm on a rush, I will still quickly pop in and get a cup of milkshake and then leave. So that's how much of a fan I am for them. So I'm currently standing right in front of the St Albans Cathedral. It's one of the most beautiful cathedrals I've seen in the UK, and of course this place came with a really long history because it's been built over 1,000 years ago. And not forget to mention that it's also a place I came here for my graduation ceremony, and it's also a filming location for Johnny English, if you have watched that film. So my initial plan was to take you all in St Albans Cathedral and have a look around the facilities inside. Unfortunately for today, they have a service going on, which is why I was not allowed to get in. But just to let you all know what's in the building, there are quite a lot of histories and features to mention about. Like number one, they do have their own lady chapels, they have different halls for services, they also have got the shrines, and it's also hosts one of the, I would say, oldest nave in England. And of course they also use the space inside for other festivals or arts and exhibitions at times. So it's a really good place, and as mentioned, I had my graduation ceremony in that area, so I always want to go in and show you all what's in there, but unfortunately today is just not the day for it. So as you can see right behind of the St Albans Cathedral, it's the Verulamium Park. It's the place where I came here often for reading in the park because that's one of my hobbies as well. And of course, this is a massive field where you could do a lot of things. Now, right behind of me, it's the St Germans block where it came with quite an interesting history as well. Check this out. So as you can see, we are in Verulamium Park and that's just right here. And behind of it, we have the London Gate where there's a road that will take us to the big city. Now, of course, this is the map from the olden days. Many have changed through the years, but of course, nowadays we have got more public transportation services that will take us to the big city through and from. But just want to let you all know that St Albans was actually in the outskirts area, just right outside of London. They are under the county of Hertfordshire. Now, one fun fact about the old houses in the UK that I want to share with you all is that do you know that in the late 1600s to the mid 1800s, they used to have a thing called window tax. So the more windows that you own in the house, the higher the tax for the house owners, which is why many of them tend to cover up their windows with the bricks so that it looks like a wall and they don't have to pay that much tax. This is something really cool that I have to learn from my friend. Okay, so that's a wrap from me. Now it's dinner time. I'm currently sitting in the Hub, which is one of the most famous restaurants in St Albans. It's also one of my favorites, and I've got the best food. And my foods are here, which is why I think it's time for me to noms, and I hope you enjoy watching my St Albans adventure today. So have fun. Thank you.